I'm going to share with you. I'm just going to be very vulnerable. I'm going to let you in to some of the things that are the culture of our home. The theme is memories around the table with my family. So create memories around the table. We're always busy, all of us. We're always running from thing to thing. And some of our best memories as a family were around the table. But you can do this with your roommates. You can do this with your sorority sisters. But just stop and be around a table with people you love and make memories. Hey girls, it's Oneka here. Welcome to the Girls Podcast. We're shaking it up. Usually you're like, well, who's your guest? Who are you interviewing? What are we talking about? What are we doing? What's happening? You're on a different set. You're in a different location. What's happening? Well, what's happening is, as I was praying about this episode, I felt like I was supposed to have an episode with just me and you. So it's just us today. And I'm so excited. I'm probably going to start doing this a little more often. Maybe like every 10 episodes, I might like pop in. I was talking to one of my girlfriends and she's like, Oneka, I feel like you need to do one on moments and memories because she said, you're so good at creating moments and memories with people you love and especially your family. So I feel like you should tell the girls and talk to them about creating moments and memories. So I'm going to share with you how I approach pretty much like every season, every holiday, every moment, every memory that I make with my kids, with my husband, with my friends, because I feel like all throughout Scripture, there's so many holy moments and memories that we talk about still to this day. And so we can take our cues from moments and memories that have happened in Scripture to encourage us, to illuminate us, to like, not illuminate in like a New Age way, but illuminate, meaning to light up our path. And so I want to start with a scripture because I'm so excited to just unpack this today. But as I unpack it, as I talk about creating memories and moments with people you love, and even coworkers, and it can be with strangers that you can create memories and moments with. But I think this is so important, and I think it's a lost art. But go with me to Matthew 26, and I'm just going to read verse by verse, line by line, and we're going to just like imagine that we are there in this moment. And when you're setting the table for someone, or when you're making a memory, or going out of your way to serve someone, while you're doing it, it feels very normal. But little do you know, you're planting lifelong seeds in that person's life, be it your family member or coworker or neighbor, and it will be a moment that they look back for all of eternity. I remember when one of my friends had her child and they adopted their son. And I remember being at that hospital. I remember we were waiting for the courageous birth mom to go into labor. I remember Earl and I were in there with them. I remember Earl took a glove, like one of those random like medical gloves that doctors and nurses used. Or here's just a fun fact, random fact. Have you ever like had someone make you a smoothie and they're not wearing gloves? That happened to me recently. And the person like took their nails and his nails were not that clean. And he stuck the protein scoop powder into the smoothie and he was like touching the fruit. And the whole time I was thinking, I wonder why he's not wearing gloves. But anyways, I got off on a tangent, but the medical gloves were in the room and it felt kind of tense and serious. And so Earl thought in this moment, I'm just going to make a memory. And so he took the glove, he blew it up, turned it into a balloon and just made us laugh. And so why do I say all that? Now to this day, we look back on that moment, on that memory. And so don't think about these things too hard. Like you don't have to walk into your day and think, what moment or memory am I going to make today? But let's be more intentional and leaned into the people that God has placed in our path. And you'll be surprised how God will use you, something that seems so insignificant, and he will make it significant in someone's life. Okay, go with me to Matthew 26. Jesus anointed at Bethany. While Jesus was in Bethany, he was in the home of Simon the leper. A woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very expensive perfume, which she poured on his head as he reclined at the table. So he's there with his guys, getting ready to actually before he was crucified. And a woman walks in with, it just seems like normal, like some perfume that she already had. This is something that she already had. So even as I'm thinking and talking and processing with you, be thinking about things that you already have that God can use and create a holy moment with it. Verse 8, when the disciples saw this, they were indignant. Why this waste? They have asked. This perfume could have been sold at a high price and the money given to the poor. Aware of this, Jesus said to them, "Why are you bothering this woman? She has done a beautiful thing to me. The poor you will always have with you, but you will not always have me. When she poured this perfume on my body, she did it to prepare me for burial. Truly I tell you, whether this gospel is preached throughout the world, what she has done will be told in memory of her." This woman walked into a room. She was so grateful that Jesus was in that room, and she wanted to show her love and appreciation that she took some very expensive perfume that she could have cherished for herself, but instead she said, "I want to break this at the feet of my Lord and Savior." And now that is a moment in history that we still talk about to this day. And so I think about the treasures that we have, the things that are sacred to us. One of my favorite things to do is I love letting people borrow things of mine. And I love giving things away. One of my girlfriends who lives in Tulsa, shout out Jessica, probably once a quarter, she comes to my house, helps me reorganize my closet, and I give away so many things. And then I see the girls in her world wearing those clothes. And that is my way of breaking open my oil and watching them stand so tall and so bold because they have new jeans that they didn't even have to buy. And it sounds like just a pair of jeans, but to them, that was a memory and that was a moment for them. But that was something that it was in my house. It was not something that money had to buy. And I think sometimes when we think about memories and moments, we think, oh, I can't do that. It's going to be too expensive. Y'all, you can create memories and moments at the Dollar Tree. You can create memories and moments at Target. Target has this like dollar aisle area, and you can get so many treasures there because here's the deal. I think about now, okay, so I have 3 kids. I have a 9-year-old, my little girl. I have a 14-year-old, my son Grayson. My little girl's name is Elle, and my oldest son is now 20, which is just crazy. That's Parker. And all throughout their life, Earl and I have tried our best to create memories and moments, things that they would treasure, things that they would be able to look back on, and things that just make them feel so seen. If you come to our church, Shoreline City, all the time, we're always creating memories and moments. We have photo walls, which sounds so like, oh, a photo wall. What if you have to have a photo wall at church? We have a photo wall at church so that you can create a memory in a moment and be charged and reminded what God did in you. Recently, we had a marriage night and we had different couples take photos together. That's a memory. That's a moment because they look back at that photo. They remember when they were at marriage night and they remember what God spoke to their heart. And I think sometimes we just get too in our head and we don't stop and take a moment to think, how can this become a memory or something that I treasure? And so I'm going to share with you. I'm just going to be very vulnerable. And I pray that it blesses you because I'm really proud of the culture of our home. I'm a working mom. Shout out working moms. And woo woo. And also shout out stay-at-home moms. Here's the deal. Whatever your post, you're doing great. Don't be hard on yourself. God has called you for such a time as this. So whether you stay at home and work at home, or whether you go into a traditional office, just know that God can still use your season to help you and your family create memories and moments. And so I'm just going to have a vulnerable moment here. I'm going to let you in to some of the things that are the culture of our home. And our home is not perfect. Earl and I are not perfect. Our marriage is not perfect. Our kids are not perfect. We're just normal, just like you. But even in the midst of, some of my kids have meltdowns sometimes. Some of my kids leave the house not looking appropriate. Sometimes, it's just a part of it. So it's not about perfection. It's not about getting it right every single time, because trust me, we do not get it right every single time. We've had some things on our journey where I feel like we crushed that. We're so good at that. But then there's other things that we're like, we missed it. We missed it there. And so just know that this is coming from a place where I feel like some of us just want some handles on how to help the culture of our home feel filled with love, joy, peace, fun, and memories and moments. So I literally jotted down. I went through like the calendar year, and I'm going to share with you, and I pray this blesses you. And if you do not have kids, you can do this with your roommates. You can do this with family members. A lot of this you can apply to your life even now. You can do this if you're in a sorority. You can do this with your sorority sisters. You can do this with your cousins. Like, you don't have to have kids, but I'm just sharing context for this because I have kids, but you can apply this to your life. And here's the deal. If your budget's $1, if you don't have a budget, or if you have a huge budget, all of this I'm about to share with you, you can do with any budget, which is the best news ever. Okay, so I love making memories. I love celebrating people. I love making people feel special. It is like, I'm just going to say it's one of my superpowers. I just love it. I love watching people's face when they're blown away. I love attention to detail. I love the way that we do it here at our church. Our church is not perfect, just like our family is not perfect. But we take the time. We're thinking about you. We're thinking about memories. We're thinking about moments. We're thinking about God's presence. We're praying for you. We're thinking about you. So everything we do, we nerd out on it, because we want you to feel so seen. So talking about culture, talking about the culture of our home, I'm going to just go through, this is just like a fun, unpacked, different approach to our podcast, but I'm going to go through every single holiday with you that we celebrate in our home, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the memories and moments that we create, and you can steal these for your family, or you can save them for when you do have a family, or like I said earlier, you can do this with your roommates. Okay, I'm going to start, these are kind of out of order, they're all over the place, but I'm going to start with Halloween. And, earmuffs if you don't celebrate Halloween. I'm getting the giggles. You can call it harvest time in October. You can call it Hallelujah Festival, whatever you want to do. But I'll just call it October. We'll call it fall, because Halloween might cringe some people. So we'll call it fall. So in my house for fall, I get crazy. I put pumpkins on my porch. I know, it sounds wild, but it's just fun to walk up to your door and see pumpkins. You can get pumpkins at a pumpkin patch. You can get pumpkins at a grocery store. You can get one pumpkin, or you can get a whole cluster of pumpkins, but I love putting pumpkins on my front door. It's just fun. And I love going to Hobby Lobby and getting little fall wreaths for my door. I love that moment when you walk in and it just feels festive and it feels fun. And then in my kitchen, we have this little bar cart. And we put like a little candy display on the bar cart with little pumpkin napkins. They're little jack-o'-lantern napkins or little fall napkins that you can get from Amazon. But it's just this little touch that we do in our home in the fall, also known as Halloween, for those of you who celebrate Halloween, but you know what I mean. Also, the night of fall festival, I'm just telling you all the things that we do so that you can steal some of these ideas and you can make them your own. We do this little charcuterie board, and we just like take candy and candy corn and M&Ms and pretzels, and we treat it like a cheese board, but we do like a candy board display. And then Costco and Trader Joe's, they have like pumpkin shaped pasta, and we do this simple meal. I just boil the pasta with noodles. It's in the shape of a pumpkin. We get marinara sauce, and we have this little charcuterie board and a little pumpkin shaped pasta, and it's just fun. It's just so fun to celebrate those memories. And then all year round for fall festival, Hallelujah night, whatever you want to call it, we think about what we're going to dress up as a family. Yep, we're those people. Ever since my kids were babies, we dress up. So we go trick-or-treating at our fall harvest. We go from door to door and we get dressed up. So from the time they were babies, one year, one of my sons is into Star Wars. So one year I was Princess Leia. I was a black Princess Leia. I had the bun. I had 2 little knots on the side of my head. One of my kids was CP3O, which is like that robot that's like in the shape of a cone, that silver robot. And we all were different characters. One year we were Mario Kart. Elle and I were Princess Peach. One of our kids was Mario, and we had so much fun. Recently, in the past, we've been the Jackson 5. We got afros, which was so fun, and we wore these matching pastel suits. One year we were NASCAR drivers. This past year we were Moana. I borrowed our Moana costumes from my friend Summer because life was lifing, and normally we plan a year in advance, but life was lifing, and I didn't have my act together. And so literally, she has a trunk full of costumes. It was free. So you do not have to spend a ton of money to make these memories. But now, as my kids are older, I have all these pictures from all the years past of us dressing up together and making memories together. And now my oldest is in college, and so now we do it without him, which I hate, but I still have all those pictures of his childhood. So that is fall, Hallelujah night, harvest, Halloween, or whatever you want to call it. Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, we're talking about memories and moments. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It's my Super Bowl. It's my game day. I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is so important to me because as a child, my mom was a single mom. We would drive to San Francisco. I lived in Sacramento, California. We would stay up late the night before, make all of our dishes, put them in our car. Then we would drive an hour and a half to San Francisco, which is where my other family members lived. And we would have this huge Thanksgiving feast. And we would laugh. We would stay up late. We would play cards. And we would go see my Uncle Fred, who's now in heaven. And fun fact about my Uncle Fred, he's who gave me away at my wedding. So I have my best memories at their house watching the way he treated my aunt, my mom's sister. It just set the stage for me on how I knew I wanted to be treated by my husband, and why I fell in love with Earl is so much so because he reminded me of my Uncle Fred. So that is why Thanksgiving is my all-time favorite holiday, a little backstory. So now for my own Thanksgiving, my mom taught Earl how to make the turkey. So Earl makes the turkey. We open up our home to family and friends. So we have probably a table of like 20 to 25 people. And I cook a huge turkey. Earl makes the turkey. I make stuffing. I make sweet potatoes. I make mashed potatoes. I make a big salad. I make this yummy like apple crostini dish that I got from this girl on Instagram called I Swoon, and I make probably like 6 dishes, and we do this huge spread, and then we have friends and family come over. They bring their dishes, and fun fact is I take the dishes that friends and family bring and I put them in my own dish so then I can make this really pretty spread. And lately I've been into silver platters, and so one of my friends found me a crazy deal at an estate sale. So it's so fun when you're setting a table when you can to have everything match. It just looks good later in the pictures, but you can get matching white dishes from Target. You can get matching white dishes from the dollar store. Creighton CB2 has these awesome black stoneware that's very inexpensive. I think it's like each piece is $14, but putting your food in matching containers, it's just like a vibe. It's a moment. It's so pretty. But some of you are like, you love your, aluminum foil, silver containers. You do what makes you happy. I know for me, I'm in my silver era, so that makes me really happy. But if you love aluminum foil stuff, you do it. Put some bows on that thing. Make it look cute. Okay, so that's what we do for Thanksgiving. When my kids were little, we would walk around the neighborhood and we would pick up leaves together and use them to be part of our table display. Christmas, okay, I'm going through all the holidays. Christmas Eve, after church, we come home. We put on our matching Christmas PJs. You can get matching PJs from any place. You can get them from Target. You can get them from J. Crew. You can get them from JCPenney's, Amazon, Land's End. Depending on your budget, you can find matching PJs. We have a ton, so if you need to borrow mine, you can just borrow mine. But it is so fun. And then a little hack that I do is we get them monogrammed. And again, I have family photos from the time when my kids were babies all the way till now of all of us in our matching photos. And you get to this age as your kids get older that you just kind of miss them being little. And so I'm so thankful that I have all these photos. So Christmas Eve, we put on our PJs. I look for them, probably like end of summer, beginning of fall, so I can find a really good deal. Then I found this really inexpensive place to get them monogram. We put them on for Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, we get takeout. Sometimes it's hamburgers, sometimes it's like sushi. It just depends on what everyone wants. So then we get our takeout, then we play charades. I mean, not charades, hide and seek. So my kids, ever since they were little, we all hide. Then there's one person who looks for everybody who's hiding. We're laughing. We're making fun of each other. We hide in bathtubs, closets, pantries, underneath beds, inside of cabinets. And we are cackling and laughing, and it is the best. And my family knows now that this is what we do. And that is like part of the culture of our family. We have these things and these traditions that we look forward to every single year. So that's Christmas Eve. Then Christmas morning, I'm in a cinnamon roll era, and I figured out how to make paleo cinnamon rolls, and they're actually amazing. Some of you have the grace to make the like real ones, but those real ones take like 2 days. Like the yeast and it's rising and then it's like has to sit in the oven at a low. It was too much for me. I felt like a scientist and I couldn't pull it off. So I've been doing these paleo ones that you can make in one sitting and they're delicious. So I make those in the morning. Everyone's waking up. Earl reads a story from the Bible and he reads the story of Christmas. And we're all in our PJs. I'm drinking my coffee. Earl has his Bible out and we're reading the story of Christmas. The cinnamon rolls have already been made. And then after that, the kids open their presents. Then they're just playing for hours, and just doing their own thing. Then I'm cleaning up with Earl all the stuff from all the Christmas stuff. And then for Christmas, I do not cook because I cook for Thanksgiving and we cater food for Christmas. So for you, you can do whatever works for your family, but I don't like to cook for Christmas. I like things that we reheat. So Whole Foods has like a turkey, stuffing, all the things that we reheat. But you could get that from Central Market. You could just do something simple because if you don't want to like do a whole spread, or maybe you go over to your family's house and they do a whole big spread, but this is just a tradition that we have, but you can make any of this your own. And then we set a really sweet dinner for Christmas dinner. And it's so sweet. I look around the table. I see my kids. I see Earl. We talk about the day. One thing that we do at Thanksgiving that I didn't share is we all go around and share what we're thankful for. And we're all crying by the end of it, like ugly, ugly tears. It's just too much. And then Christmas, it's just my little family. It's just Earl, Grayson, Parker, Elle, myself, and Nana. And it is so sweet. And I cherish those memories with my family. Next holiday, Valentine's Day. We're in February now. Are you guys enjoying this? I pray that this is helping you think of creative ways to make moments and memories with your family. Valentine's Day, I get Valentine's gifts for all my kids. My oldest, like I said, is 20. And we had a moment this weekend where I could not wait for him to open his Valentine's present. Target has the cutest little wrapping that has hearts on it. So does Amazon. It could be anything. It could be like, oh, I forgot to tell you, Christmas Eve we do stockings. We open their stockings. In their stockings, I'll put little socks. I'll put like a gift card for Elle. I'll get her like a little lip gloss, a little cute little socks. The boys, they love Wingstop and Subway, which is, I will not say what I think about Subway. But anyways, I put little gift cards in their stockings and they love that. So we do that Christmas Eve. But back to Valentine's Day, and hope you're tracking with all of this. So Valentine's Day, I get these cute little heart-shaped boxes from Amazon. I fill them up with their favorite candy. And then I just get something cute that just makes me think of them. And now to this day, and when Parker comes home from school, he's looking forward to these moments because he's had them since he was a child. So we still celebrate, even though he's 20. I had a moment with him and it was so special. I could cry thinking about it. But I was just like so proud. I was like, come here, come in, come in, come in. Come sit down, come sit down, come sit down. And I had him open his Valentine's gifts. And so these are memories that not only will you cherish, but your family will cherish. And my big thing is I want to create moments so that my kids want to come back home. Because now you have your kids, your arms are full for those of you that are parents, and you don't ever imagine a day where they might not be coming home. And so it's emotional. And so I love that making these memories and moments will be something that my kids will always look forward to. During the holiday season, it's as a family, we made gingerbread houses, and it was so special. And I want to do that forever. And so that's Valentine's Day. Target has heart-shaped waffle makers. So we like to make heart-shaped waffles. It's like $9.99. And you put your little batter in there and you make heart-shaped waffles. How cute is that? So that's what I do for Valentine's Day. We do little hearts. Michael's and Hobby Lobby have these like heart-shaped wreaths. We put those on our door for Valentine's Day. And it's so fun. They stay up for like the whole month of February. And we also do a little candy display in our bar cart. I'll send you pictures of all of this so you can see. But these are little moments. You make it your own. Easter, what we do for Easter. Part of our family culture, some of our traditions. I'm just letting you in to my world and to my heart, and I'm praying that this blesses you as you make traditions and moments for your family. For Easter, what we do is Good Friday, we have a huge service at our church. It's so much fun. And then Saturday and Sunday, it's a wild season for us as we lead a church. Anyone in industry knows that Easter is a wild weekend. But even though it's a wild weekend, I still like to stop and pause and lean into my family. And so something that we do the weekend of Easter is we do like a super special dinner the night before Easter. And I learned this from my pastor, Pastor Laura Koch. cook who's amazing, and we make lamb chops. I know, that's so random. Like, how often do you eat lamb? Sounds kind of crazy. But we make lamb chops. They're amazing, especially when you put butter on them and fresh garlic and rosemary. So every Easter, my family knows we have lamb chops, we have mashed potatoes, we have asparagus, and I get this little mint jelly that is like, mwah. And I put them on my pretty plates. And you can get pretty plates from anywhere. I basically recently hit the jackpot at this thrift store, and I found this set of dishes. So everything that I'm talking about, you can ball on a budget. Like, none of this stuff that I'm describing has to be expensive. You can do this on any budget. But I found this really pretty place setting from a thrift store. And so that's what I put my Easter dinner on. And then I like to do matching napkins and just set a really pretty table. And we talk, we laugh, we make memories. And so that's what I do leading up to Easter. Then Easter weekend after church, I show my kids their Easter baskets. So I have them out. I've used the same Easter baskets probably the last 5 years. They have these really pretty ribbons on them, and then you can also put monograms on them if you want. And then I fill them again with candy. And like for my kids, I like to put swim trunks in there for the upcoming season. And once again, you can find swim trunks or swimsuits on any price, from J. Crew to Amazon to Target. And so I usually do goggles, swimsuits, a fun little book, and we just make it fun. Sunglasses, and and with candy, chocolate bunnies. They love it. I have pictures again of them from the time they were little till now. You know, Parker's 18 and he still gets an Easter basket, and it's so much fun. And then so they do that after church. They open their baskets. Then again, I do an Easter lunch. Lately, they've been asking for chicken and waffles, so I figured out a way to do chicken in my air fryer, and I make homemade waffles. And it is, again, memories around the table. The theme is memories around the table with my family. So create memories around the table. We're always busy, all of us. We're always running from thing to thing. And some of our best memories as a family were around the table. But you can do this with your roommates. You can do this with your sorority sisters. But just stop and be around a table with people you love and make memories. Last day of school. I know. Last day of school and first day of school. First day of school, I do a special breakfast for my kids. I get little plates and set the tape. I go crazy. I get pendants with their names on it. This year I borrowed it from a friend, her pendant. But I set a little back to school table to get them excited for the end of summer. And then end of school, we go get snow cones or we go get ice cream to celebrate the end of the year. The common theme of all of this: memories and moments and traditions. And then your family can look back on these times for years to come. I remember when my oldest son was 3, I used to always chase him around a tree. This is a memory and a moment. And the tree was in our front yard. And I'd say, "Go, Parker, go. Go, 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 Parker, go." And he would run around the tree. And then when he turned 18, guess what he wanted to get a tattoo of? A tree. The same tree that I chased him around when he was 3 years old. Memories and moments. And fun story. So me, my husband, and Parker, when he turned 18, we spent the day together, memories and moments, and we all got tattoos of that tree. When he was 3 and I was chasing him, I was dealing with postpartum. My postpartum was like a whole long postpartum anxiety journey that kind of like stayed with me for probably 3 years. And I remember thinking like in that moment, I didn't have the energy to go to the park. I just didn't. I didn't have it in me. And so my park was my front yard, and all I had in me was to chase him around the tree. In that moment, I was probably judging myself, saying like, why aren't you at the park? Why haven't you packed him an amazing lunch? Why isn't this moment Instagrammable? I'm sure in my mind, I was like stuck in my head. But I made the best of that season. I chased him around that tree in our front yard. Fast forward to now when he turned 18, he still remembers that, and he was 3. And he has a tattoo on his leg of that very tree, and so does Earl. I have a leaf because I'm a girl and I almost got a huge tree. And one of my friends FaceTimed me at the tattoo place and said, "Oneka, you've lost it. You're just grieving because your son's about to go away to college. You're getting a little baby leaf. We're not doing a tree." And thank God. But why do I say that? It's a memory. It's a moment. Last day of school, I talked to you about going to get ice cream. Think about something that's fun for your family and do it on the last day of school. Breakfast. I'm almost done, guys. Breakfast on birthdays. Every birthday, no matter my family member, we set a special table. So for my little girl, I'm every year, like I'm just researching all year long on how I can set the table. Her birthday's in May. I've already been collecting like table inspo for when she wakes up her birthday morning. And then for whatever party, listen, everything's already been invented, so you don't have to like recreate the wheel. I screenshot things all the time, Pinterest, Instagram, and I hit the jackpot and I find these things to honor and celebrate my little girl. I set the table for all my kids for breakfast, and they have a special birthday breakfast. And I can't wait for them to wake up. I can't wait for them to come downstairs. I'm like clapping. I'm like, happy birthday, look at your table. And I set up the table according to their personality. And so think about the people in your world and think about something that you can do to honor them the morning of their birthday. And now that my kids are getting older, they still love and appreciate those moments. Last but not least are some ongoing things that we do as a family all year round. Every night, pretty much, like out of 7 days a week, I would say 4 to 5 days a week, we sit down as a family and we have dinner together. And it is super important to us. And we do highs and lows and what we're thankful for. So everyone goes around and says they're high. Then everyone goes around and says they're low. And then everyone goes around and says what they're thankful for. You learn so much about what's going on in your child's life by hearing their highs, lows, and what they're thankful for. And to this day, my kids, like I said, are 9, 14, and 20, and we still do it. And Earl and I share our highs and lows. Sometimes Earl is overly spiritual, and he's like, my high is waking up to my wife, which we're like, Dad, whatever. And sometimes his low is like, oh, I didn't get to spend as much time with Jesus as I wanted. And we tease him. We're like, give us a real low. Like, what's going on in your soul? Tell us something bad that happened, because he's so positive, which we love that about him. But sometimes we want like the nitty gritty. But we do high, lows, and thankful without fail, no matter what. We do this 4 or 5 times a week, and I love it. And then on vacation, whenever we take a family vacation together, steal this, y'all. You do this with your roommates, do this with your friends, do this with your family. We honor a person at each meal. So breakfast on family vacation, we all go around and we'll choose, Parker. Say we choose Parker. So at breakfast, we all go around and we talk about how much Parker means to us. We do this every time we go away someplace as a family. You could do this at a restaurant. If you don't ever go on a family vacation, you could make your vacation a night at a restaurant. You can make your vacation a walk. You don't have to go someplace. But for us, if we go someplace, which we love to do with our kids, we choose a person to honor each day at each meal, and we just like take our time. And by the end of it, we're all crying and we're speaking life over our family. And we've created this culture where it's normal to pour out onto one another. We live in a world where it is not normal to speak life. Like when you compliment someone now, sometimes they look at you like you're crazy. They think you're like on drugs, or they think you're fake, because our world has gotten so hardened. And so Earl and I decided that we want a family culture of encouragement. And sure, our kids argue. Sure, sometimes they get on each other's nerves. But when we are away as a family, it is so special to hear the words that Grayson says about Parker, that Elle says about Grayson, that the kids say about Earl. The things that they say to me, it's so powerful. So steal this idea on a road trip or on a family vacation with your husband, with your spouse, with your best friends, with your kids, and take a meal and speak life over one another. Game nights. Throughout the week when all of our kids are together, at least I would say like a couple times a month, we do game nights. We love Uno. We're an Uno family. We do Super Uno. We do the Uno where you play the stack, the nines, all the things. We like get crazy with Uno. There's this other game that takes forever to play called Catan that our family also loves, but it's very long. So if you love a game that like lasts long, Catan is your game. But figure out what game that, when our kids were little, we did like matching games. There's these cards that says there's like apples and pears and fire trucks and all these things. And you take the cards, you flip them over and you try to find the pairs. That's what we used to do when our kids were little. So figure out whatever game works for the stage of life that your family is in and do family game nights. They're so much fun. As I prepare to close, we do movie nights all the time. And what's really cool is I feel like I'm super reflective because my kids are getting older. But now when my son comes home from college, he likes to watch the movies that we watched when he was a kid. And so family movie nights are like major key in our family. We pop popcorn. The kids love crumble cookies. I broke up with crumble cookies because someone told me how much sugar is in them. I didn't realize how much sugar was in a crumble cookie. So we are not in relationship anymore. I make my own cookies, but the kids love crumble. We love popcorn. We all put on the couch and we watch movies. And I think back now, and Parker's like, let's watch this movie. Let's watch this movie. And he kind of chooses the movies now. And it's always a movie that we watched as he was growing up. And so why do I circle back to all of this? Why do I tell you all of this? It's like life is such a gift, you guys. It is such a gift. We are so blessed to get to be alive for such a time as this. And some of us have family members that are no longer with us. Some of us have people and friends that we don't have the honor of doing life with anymore. Either they've moved or they've gone to be with Jesus. And so why not take the most out of life? And why not pause, look at the people in your world, speak life over them, send them voice memos, go in their DMs and say something nice, make them videos with your phones. When my friends have life moments like birthdays, weddings, baby showers, I get wild. We call it cracked out. We just get cracked out, and no offense, crack is not good for you. So it's not a positive. But by cracked out, I just mean you just come alive. And we're like, what kind of cake should we do? What should the food be? What should the floral be? And we're like collecting pictures on Pinterest and Instagram and screenshotting. And we're thinking about the menu. We're thinking about like how all the shots that we're going to take of our friend. We're like, okay, we can take a picture there. We can take a picture there. What if she did that? What if she did that? And then you look back on those photos from that moment. And it's emotional because you get to see the expression on your friend's face or your family member's face. And you get to say, I was a part. That was my oil that I broke open that filled the room. And so ask the Lord to give you the gift to see people. I love seeing people. I love speaking words of life over people. And I feel like in a world where there's so much negativity, there's so much comparison, that it's so important that as God's daughters, that we set the table, that we set the tone of our houses, that we set the tone in our friendships. So I just encourage you that maybe out of all of this, like it was information overload for you, take one moment. You don't have to do what I do for every single holiday. Choose one holiday that you decide, I'm going to honor the people that I love. Maybe that's your takeaway. Maybe that's your jar that you break open for your friends or your family or your coworkers. Or take all the things that I shared and do it based on the season that you're in. If you're a new mom, you might not have the grace to set any kind of table because you're delirious right now. Well, text someone and say it's my husband's birthday or my son's birthday and I'm taking care of a newborn and I don't have it in me. Oneka was talking about setting tables. I don't have it in me to set a table. Ask a friend to come over and help you set a table. Ask a friend who you saw a table that she set for her family. Ask her if you can borrow her dishes. Like, you don't have to. I feel like I'm just kind of done with the cynicism. I'm kind of done with like, it must be nice. Must be nice to go on a family vacation. Must be nice to set a table. Y'all, you can just borrow something from a friend or you can save up. You can make Chick-fil-A look pretty if you want to. You can make a moment in your car. Last night, like I said, and you could be watching this recently. You could watch this like in the month of February, March, or you could be watching or listening to this a year from now. But recently, Earl and I were a part of a marriage night at our church, and we heard the most amazing, powerful teaching. We processed it the whole way home. And then on the drive home, Earl was like, let's get In-N-Out. Do I love In-N-Out? Not really. Do I love American cheese? Not really. It's not real cheese. Sorry, I hate to break it to you, but it's like not real. It's probably filled with like food coloring and I don't know, it just kind of grosses me out. But I could tell he was in the like make a memory mode. And I can be kind of Debbie Downer of like, let's go home and make protein pancakes, which is kind of like a killjoy in the moment when he's like feeling crazy and like, let's get In-N-Out and it's like 10 at night. But I could tell he was like excited about In-N-Out. So I was like, let's do it. But I did kind of at first say, you wanted me to make protein pancakes at home? He was like, doesn't In-N-Out sound good? And I was like, sure, let's do it. So we got In-N-Out. We pulled over to a nearby church parking lot because where In-N-Out is on the way to our house. I love our house, but the In-N-Out on the way is a little sketchy. And so we pulled to a nearby church parking lot. We got our little in and out. We didn't have hand sanitizer. So we took water from a water bottle, put it on napkins, wiped it on our hands. And we sat and we ate our in and out. And we talked about what God spoke to us at marriage night. That's a moment. That's a memory. That was probably $15. And we processed what God talked to us about at marriage night. So a moment in memory can be any stage. It could be elaborate, where you could just go all out, or it could be takeout, or it could just be going on a walk. Some of my best moments with Earl are walking around our neighborhood, holding hands, talking about our highs and our lows, talking about, sometimes we'll go on a walk and he'll say, "What are you praying for?" And I'll share with him some things that are on my heart. Sometimes we're in a car together and he'll say, "What are some things that we should be in agreement about?" And so a memory in a moment, yes, it can be setting a table. And do I love setting a table? You better believe it. But I also just love going on a walk. So just take whatever you would like from this conversation. But if you leave with anything, let's be like that woman who opened the jar that was very costly. Some scholars say that it was a family heirloom, and she shared her family heirloom and broke it open at the feet of Jesus, and that fragrance filled the air. People didn't understand. Sometimes you'll have family and friends that don't understand while you want to make a memory in a moment, but they don't have to understand. But one day they'll be talking about that memory in that moment that you made with them. Life is so sacred. It is such a gift. Let's just be intentional, girls. Let's be intentional with the people that God has placed in our life. Maybe that memory in that moment is a prayer, and it's just praying for someone. God will lead you. But I pray that this bless you today. I pray that it encourage you today. I pray that you have handles to create culture in your office, in your home, with your sweet mates, with your kids, with your sisters. Let God do what he wants to do, and let Jesus just strengthen you, encourage you, and bless you as we make memories and moments together. Love you, and see you next time.